One Piece chapter 1005 is out and it's titled Devil Child, which means we're going to be focusing a lot on Nico Robin, which I am absolutely fanatic about. Unfortunately, this chapter also comes at a cost, which I'm sure we're all aware of by now. But first, let's start with the cover story. We have the goat, Mr. Slam Jam Katakuri here, and he's eating his donuts, and he's just chilling with cats in what looks like the forest of Thailand. I don't see any homey specific trees, but definitely like you see like the lollipops, you see like the Kirby trees and everything like that. This is pretty much Whole Cake Island. I always love to see Katakuri, so something like this, love it. Absolutely love it. Getting into the chapter, we see that they're setting up for the transmission across the island, and Black Maria is pretty much coaxing Sanji to call for Robin. And we know that they want Robin in order to basically decipher the poneglyphs, take the information that she has, and add it to their arsenal. Of course, they're not going to do this in any pleasant way, so if Robin actually did come and they captured her, it would be terrible. Now, in preparation for getting Sanji to basically call for Robin, we see some new things from Black Maria. First, we see her spinning her webs, and she can actually do this from her fingertips, which makes sense as she's a spider zoan, but just that she doesn't have any typical kind of web spinning. Like usually it comes from different portions of the body based on what kind of spider it is, but she can just pull it straight from her hands, which is interesting. We also see her put on a pair of brass knuckles, which I really wasn't expecting at all. Usually when you see Zoans and just like top tier fighters in general, if they have a weapon, it's like a major weapon, it's a sword. And we see later on that Black Maria does have a actual weapon, but just the fact that she has brass knuckles is very interesting. It makes it feel like it's more of a mafia vibe, like she's a gang leader. And from what we've seen from Black Maria earlier, she didn't seem like this. She seemed like the most compassionate of the Tobiropo. And I'm kind of happy with this turn because it's making her seem much more like a vicious pirate and someone that belongs on Kaido's crew. So Black Maria is basically laying into Sanji with all these hits, one after another, and at some point he mentions that he can't even will his armament haki to activate in the chance that it might hurt Black Maria. So because of his aversion to hitting females, because of his inability to hit females, even activating his armament haki would go against that moral. And I find somewhat of a problem with that because I feel like there have been times where Sanji has either defended or at least stood his ground versus a female in which if they kicked him, they may have gotten hurt. For example, if Khalifa kicked Sanji's leg and Sanji defended it, she could have injured herself, but that didn't seem to be an issue with Sanji there. For here, he's saying that, you know, if I activate my armament haki, you could hurt yourself by hitting me. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But I guess it comes in the nature of the perception of injuring a female. The reason Sanji can't activate his armament haki is because there is a perception there that a female might get injured. And since haki is based on willpower, it may not be that he doesn't want to activate it, it's that he just absolutely can't activate it because his will is the way that it is. And watching all of this take place, I'm kind of on the side of the bystanders who are kind of saying Sanji's not going to call for Robin. He wouldn't put his friend in danger even if it meant risking his life. And so when Sanji actually does call for Robin, it really threw me for a loop because I didn't expect him to do that. I thought that he would, you know, make some grand statement about not underestimating not only Robin, but, you know, the crew in general and how they wouldn't turn each other like that. Like that wouldn't be a thing. And even though I wouldn't necessarily call this turning on Robin because, you know, he believes in Robin. We all believe in Robin. It's still a weird sight to see Sanji call for help instead of just saying, no, I won't, I refuse. For example, when you think about Nami and what she said to Ulti about Luffy, where Nami was on the brink of death and Ulti said, you know, if you want to live, you know, denounce your captain. And Nami, even in the face of death, said, no, he's still going to be the Pirate King. This is still happening. No matter if you kill me, I'm still going to say this. And so I would expect Sanji to have a similar moment to where, like, you can try and kill me all you want. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to turn in my friends. I'm not going to call my friends to danger. If there's even a chance they could get hurt, I'm not going to do that. So to see Sanji call for Robin, I can see why people are upset by it. I can see why it's been, especially these past few chapters have been somewhat controversial just because of how Sanji has been acting. And I can't say I'm the biggest fan of it, but I also can't say I'm that surprised by it. It's shocking, yes, but if we look at how Sanji's been portrayed, especially post-time skip, these things are kind of set up for Sanji this way, where he'll end up in these predicaments and he will look pretty bad in these predicaments. Like, he won't look great going through these. I imagine Sanji's going to have an epic moment. In fact, I think he's probably going to end up fighting Jack and possibly Queen after this, but will that make up for what we're seeing here? I'm not entirely sure. I couldn't say. Now, we hear everyone kind of have their own opinions based on what they hear from Sanji. Like, a bunch to Chopper, a bunch to Heat, a bunch to different crews kind of responding to Sanji and being like, wait, he's on the Straw Hats, why is he doing this? Like, that's kind of pathetic. And I mean, it makes sense. Basically, you have one of your strongest people in your crew calling for help, asking for someone to please save me because I'm about to die. So you have all these other people looking and they're just like, really? These are your strong people in your crew. They're calling for help like this. All except for Marco, who kind of just makes the comment that they're a very lively bunch. And it's interesting to see Marco say that because he doesn't seem to be off-put by Sanji's call. I think he understands what's happening more often than anybody else. You know, the rest of the Straw Hat crew, the rest of the other crews all see it as a pathetic moment. And Marco's kind of just like, huh, this is a really interesting group. These people are really interesting. And I like that because I think it shows to Marco's experience. Marco knows the world, he's met a lot of people. I think he gets a good read on people, so he understands how the crew works very well. We also get a comment from Nami, who pretty much acknowledges that Sanji is going up against a woman. So she's like, Sanji wouldn't be doing this unless it was the exact predicament that he's facing a woman, that he couldn't fight her because of the fact that she's a woman. So Nami knows this, and I don't think the rest of the crew is too off-put by it. Like, Frankie makes his comments about being a man and everything like that, but I don't think anyone's like, how could Sanji do this to us? They're all just kind of like, well, that's Sanji. That's how it is. And honestly, at the end of the day, that's how I feel about it. It's like, well, that's Sanji. That, like, I don't expect anything more or less from Sanji at this point in time, which can be seen as a sad thing, but I mean, I think that's just how Sanji's being written now. Now, before Black Maria gets the chance to lay in the final blows to Sanji, basically what I've been saying for the past few chapters and what a lot of people have been saying in general about Robin, but me more specifically about Robin and Brook showing up, happens now. And Robin comes in, lays a smack on Black Maria that actually draws blood, so I'm not sure if this is a durability nerf to Black Maria or like a strength feat of Robin herself, because that's a hard hit, but to hit a zone and to immediately draw blood is interesting. To be told, she is in what looks to be a hybrid form, so there's speculations here and there. We don't have to get too deep into it, but for me, I see it as a good feat for Robin. And we also have Brook coming in and he's cutting the webs, and it looks like his Soul Solid ability pretty much nerfs the webs. It makes them fragile and it makes them crack, which is a really good defense against Black Maria. So I don't know if this is going to be a 2v1 or a 1v1. I would absolutely love Robin to have a 1v1 on Black Maria. That would be fantastic, but I think this might end up being a 2v1. Either way, I'm excited. I just love seeing Robin in action, and just some of the panels here, like when she's talking about Black Maria saying your last words and she has like this shading over her face and she looks pretty much demonic. I absolutely love that, and I'm so happy to see Robin kind of in a scenario in which she can shine basically on her own. I know Brook is here and I know this is probably going to be more of a 2v1, but she's still going to have probably most of the spotlight in this altercation. I think there's a reason that they set up Robin specifically to this fight. Brook is here too, and to be fair, Brook might even go help Sanji. We don't know. But I think this is really going to be a moment for Robin to shine the most. And we get the amazing moment of Robin saying that Sanji made her day, and we had that face. It's just a really good chapter for Robin. We then jump back to Yamato, and it looks like basically the creatures that have the paper and the eye over them are robots, and they basically transmit video and audio throughout the entire island. And this is what they've been using to communicate, so basically what they have to do is destroy those, and you destroy their communication. that kind of defeats the idea of them being like members of the Three-Eyed Tribe or specific fruit user. Things like that are taken on the ropes. It's just a form of communication. So that's not as interesting as a lot of people kind of expected it to be, but it definitely explained nonetheless. And with that, we have Yamato, Shinobu, and Momosuke trying to escape because pretty much everyone knows where they are now, so they're trying to get out of there and make sure no one sees Momo. We also get the return of Jack, who is very patched up. You can even see that he's got his tusk pretty much like, I don't know if it's like nailed back on or taped back on. His tusk is back and he's charging through people heading to the scabbards. Basically, he's saying that the Tobiropo aren't strong enough to take out the scabbards. Now, this is weird because I feel like he thinks the scabbards are still in good health, which they're not. They got decimated by Kaido. So if the Tobiropo were to go there, it would be an easy win. Now, if Jack has some kind of information about who this extra person is, and he thinks that person is capable of fighting with the Tobiropo, that's a different story. But as for now, any of the Tobiropo should be able to walk in there and clean up the scabbards. So I'm curious about why he's saying that. I think this also leads to a possible Sanji versus Jack fight because they're both going to the same location. And I think that if this mystery person is in fact, Toki or Hiyori, that means that Sanji's going to have a woman to protect from Jack. That'll give him kind of the boost he needs to fight. That'll let him take down Jack, who from this point on we've seen as a very strong combatant. So Sanji taking on Jack would be an impressive feat. Now, they're both weakened, they both took damage, so I don't think it's going to be enough to kind of quell the anger people are feeling right now for what's happening with Sanji, but it's something, I suppose. The chapter ends back with Black Maria, Nico Robin, and Brook, and it looks like there's about to be a big fight. Now, I see that Black Maria is basically donning her tattoo and she's dropped her robe. What I'm guessing is going to happen is that she's going to have another transformation. I think that's why we're seeing kind of her disrobing and not facing us yet. I think when she turns around, or when we get back to the next chapter, she's going to be in full Zoan form. But yes, I am very excited to see where this goes. It's not rooftop stuff. It's not the stuff that we've been kind of craving from the past or the really early 1,000 episodes, but with Robin in particular, I've been waiting for this and I really want this. This has been really high on my priority list as far as fights go. Like, this might be, to be honest, second or third below the rooftop. Like, I really want to see Robin fight. And so if we get actual fight between this, I will be more than pleased. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good chapter. The Sanji stuff, like I said, it really doesn't get to me as much because in the first place, Sanji isn't my favorite character, so I don't feel as hard when things like this happen to him. I'm definitely excited for Robin, and so that's why I really like this chapter. And so I think it was a pretty good chapter. I'm really excited to see what happens next. Please let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how you guys felt with the chapter. How does the entire Sanji situation make you feel? I know it's been decisive, so go ahead and drop your comments whether you like it or dislike it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.